Welcome back, everybody. Raccoon MMA here. It's that time of month, UFC 307. Here we go. Right, we've got a good card. Kind of put together a bit hastily, I guess, because of all the fallout from 303. But we have Alex Pereira defending his title. We have Raquel Pennington defending her title. Kayla Harrison's on the card. Jose Aldo's on the card. Wonderboy is on the card. So we got some good stuff. Yeah, let's get right into it. Who's gonna win? How and why? We're going to start off, of course, with the MMA Culpa, how I've done. Guys, I know I've been saying this a lot, but last pay-per-view was not very good for me. My GOAT got obliterated. Alexa Grasso is no longer the champion, and it wasn't even close. But hey, it brought me up to 101 fights picked, so over 100 fights that I've picked. Of those, 62 have been correct. One has been a no contest. 5 of those, I believe, are robberies, which would bring me up to a 67% accuracy, but you can disagree with me. And yeah, 62% accuracy, that is if I make a pick on this channel. And I pick lots of underdogs. If I make a pick on this channel, it's 62% chance of it coming true. In terms of my method, that is, if I pick a fight correctly, there's a good chance that I'll say, well, I think this person's going to win by decision. I think she's going to win by TKO. I think he's going to win by submission, right? I have 47 of the fights I've picked method. 33 of those have been correct, 14 incorrect. This could be a 70% accuracy. So my stats are fine. I'm more likely than not to be correct on these things. Okay, let's get right into it with some quick picks. Tisha Pennington versus Carla Esparza. So the wife of our co-main event headliner against the former 2-time strawweight champion Carla Esparza. Solid fight. Esparza is retiring after this one. She spent about 2 years off after losing her title to Zhang Wei Li, and she'll be coming back for her first and last fight since losing her title. So I think it would be kind of easy to lean towards her, especially with Pennington coming off of 2 losses. But of course, those 2 losses were pretty clear, in my opinion, robberies. But yeah, that's a good fight. I think that is flying a little bit under the radar. I think that Esparza gets a bit of a bad reputation, specifically for that one fight against Rose Namajunas when she got her title back, and it was very boring. But she's had some good fights. Against Alexa Grasso, that was a good fight. Against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, that was a good fight for as long as it lasted. So, I don't want to give her too hard of a time. Tisha Pennington is always all right to watch, so I'm looking forward to that one. We've also got Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, he took a loss at 170, so he's back up at 185, and he'll be at 185 until he takes a loss, and he's going back down to 170. Dolidze, of course, is coming off a win at light heavyweight against Anthony Lionheart-Smith, although they've taken him off the rankings there for some reason, and he's back to being, I guess, a full-time middleweight. Holland is a good kind of 8-limb striker. He's very fast, he's very rangy, but not so much at middleweight. He's got some sort of tricky grappling. Dolidze, of course, just hits you very hard. He's very basic on the feet. He's not very flashy. He just hits you hard. He's got some heavy kicks. On the ground, he's really crushing and pressing. Also, probably a pretty fun fight. I think that Tisha Pennington is going to win this one. I think that Esparza has been off for too long. Her head's out of the game. She's not focused on being an MMA anymore. She just, wants to try and go out on a win, or she wants to actually have a retirement fight. Pennington, I think, has actually looked in good form recently, despite those 2 very close losses. I also think that Roman Dolidze will beat Kevin Holland. I think that he's going to be able to press him up against the fence, use his size. He's a big middleweight versus a medium-sized welterweight, really, to really push Holland up there. I think Holland's chin at middleweight is not all that great. We saw Alexeychuk, despite losing Holland's last fight, Alexeychuk was able to knock him down very quickly. And I think, Alexeychuk puts himself into the fire a bit more than Dolidze, and he hits a bit harder than Dolidze. I think that Dolidze will be able to create enough of a reaction out of Kevin Holland to get him into bad grappling positions. That is, against the fence, in the clinch, things like that. So those are my 2 picks for those. 2 more. Jose Aldo is back. He's fighting Mario Batista. Marina Rodriguez is back after her narrow split decision loss to Jessica Andrade at UFC 300. She's fighting Yasmin Lucindo, who is coming off a very good win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, a win that made me very upset. So, Jose Aldo Jr. I thought when Jose Aldo came out of retirement for his last fight against Jonathan Martinez that he was going to be slow, that the layoff would be bad for him, that it just wasn't going to be there anymore. And of course, Martinez is a good mirror match in terms of like the leg kicks, the speed, everything like that. But Aldo put on a great performance. He won every round very clearly. He looked good. He looked fast. He looked really fast. I like the way he looks. I mean, he's a top 5 fighter of all time for a reason. But I really like the way he looked. Batista, also a very good fighter. So we'll see. This should be a really fun fight. I think the winner probably gets Sandhagen, which is cool. Rodriguez is a really solid like Muay Thai striker at 115 pounds. Yasmin Lucindo, also a good striker. Decent ground game as well. Notable for her speed more than her power. She was really able to just outclass Karolina Kowalkiewicz across 3 rounds. But in these 2 fights, I am going to take Jose Aldo, and I'm going to take Marina Rodriguez. I think Marina Rodriguez is just a bit too much, a bit too early for Lucindo. I think that the speed will not be there as much with Rodriguez as it was with Kowalkiewicz. I think that Rodriguez just has more options in terms of her Muay Thai striking, in terms of like counters, in terms of chopping away the legs of Lucindo than Kowalkiewicz did. So yeah, I think that'll be a good fight though. Jose Aldo, I just think he looks great. It's I could say all sorts about Batista's great boxing, his power, his leg kicks, his tricky grappling, but it's just hard for me to pick against Jose Aldo at the moment. He looks really, really good. He looks like classic prime Jose Aldo, so which is crazy because he's like 40. So yeah, those are my 2 picks there. Okay, on to a little bit more analysis. Kayla Harrison versus Ketlen Vieira. This is cool. This is the UFC is doing something that I like, which is that they're putting a title eliminator on the same card as a title fight. Right, so the winner of this fight can just very easily call out the winner of Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Pena, and the scheduling should just work out. I really like that. Kayla Harrison is a lot of fun. People who don't like women's MMA, shame on you, by the way. Women's MMA is good. But people who don't like women's MMA tend to like Kayla Harrison because she's very good. She's very, very good. She's very intriguing. Right, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. In the 2016 Olympics, she wasn't even scored on. Like, she's a very, very good judoka. Then, of course, she came to MMA. She was a 2-time PFL lightweight champion of the world, so she won the tournament. For those of you who don't know how the PFL seasons work, is you'll have 4 fights in a year. You'll do 2 fights in terms of like a regular season, 3 points for a win, 3, 2, or 1 points extra if you get a finish, 3 points in the first round, 2 points in the second one, and the third, obviously. And then the top 4 fighters advance to a bracketed semifinals and then finals. Winner gets the belt and $1 million. And she did this twice in a row. And then her third try at it, she made it to the finals. She fought Larissa Pacheco, who's very, very good, and also on the juice. And Pacheco had lost to Harrison 2 times prior. This was a very close fight. I personally scored it for Harrison. The judges scored it for Pacheco. That gave Kayla Harrison her first and only loss. She then went down to featherweight, fought in Invicta, and now she's here in the UFC. She's down to bantamweight, so she's down 2 weight classes from lightweight. She's massive for the weight class. She's very strong. And in her debut at UFC 300 against Holly Holm, she lived up to the hype. I mean, she went out there, she got a 10-8 round in the first round, she submitted Holly Holm in the second. Her striking was good enough to corral Holly Holm into the places that Harrison wanted her. Her judo was able to get her on the ground. Her jiu-jitsu was, and ground and pound is really excellent. They don't allow elbows in the PFL. Kayla Harrison looked good with elbows in the UFC. So she beat Holly Holm up really bad, and then she submitted her pretty easily in the second. Ketlen Vieira is very interesting as a kind of a bit of a mirror match for Kayla Harrison, right? Like, she can kind of test where Kayla Harrison is good, where she's not. because she's good at a lot of the same things that Kayla Harrison is, right? Like, she is, like Kayla Harrison, very strong. She is, somebody who is not super technical on the feet but hits you hard. Um, and she's very, very good when she's on top of you. She's good at getting on top of you, and she's very good at, her grappling when she is on top of you. I think, though, that just because you're good, Ketlen Vieira is very good, to be clear. She's number 2 for a reason. But just because you're good doesn't mean you're Kayla Harrison. I think that where Vieira really thrives is the clinch. She really likes to hit people hard from the clinch. She likes to take people down from the clinch and land on top of them. But that's just a position where you can't be with a world-class judoka, someone with better judo than anybody in mixed martial arts, better judo than Islam Makhachev, right? So yeah, Kayla Harrison, I think, like, where Vieira is most comfortable, Kayla Harrison is better. I think where, Vieira then needs to take this fight is, like, I don't know, you walk backwards and you try and hit her. The Holly Holm game plan against Ronda Rousey. But I think that Kayla Harrison is too good at using her striking, which again is not super technical, but she's got sort of a series of boxing combinations and kicks that are really good at pressing somebody up against the fence and forcing the clinch out of them, that I think will be able to tie her up with Vieira, get Vieira to the ground, and she will just be stronger, right? Like, being a strong bantamweight is different than being a strong lightweight who somehow made the cut. I mean, you can just look at their arms on the screen. Kayla Harrison is strong. So, I mean, we'll see. I think, obviously, there are some aspects of Kayla Harrison's game at bantamweight that are untested, like her chin. But I think that she's just too sort of crushing, too, like, scary, right? Like, there's too much aura to her. Like, she chases you down, and you're like, uh-oh, I gotta move backwards. Where I think Vieira will really struggle. So I'm quite confident that Kayla Harrison wins this fight. I'm going to say she gets a TKO. Okay, Julianna Pena is back after 2 years off. She has somehow gotten herself into a title shot against Raquel Pennington. Guys, I really like Raquel Pennington. I know that she's very easy to rag on because she had that fight that people didn't like in Toronto against Mayra Bueno Silva, where basically you get Silva, who's this great explosive finisher who submits people and stuff, and Pennington just spent around weathering the storm and then just kind of clinched her and boxed her up for the remaining 4 rounds and won the title off of it. I know that people don't like that, but I don't know. I think it's cool to watch someone who's really good at shutting down someone else's game. I think it's fun. I think that Pennington, she's got hands. Like, she's defensively responsible. She has got some sort of nifty boxing. She's really good in the clinch. She's just really good at shutting someone's game down. And she's on a nice little streak since her last loss. I think it's a 5-fight win streak or to the title, and then I guess she won. So it would be a 6-fight win streak. And I love that. I love seeing someone who's late in their career, who's kind of struggled the whole time, just put together a little run, go and win the belt. It's really beautiful. And yeah, so Pennington's game kind of revolves around that, right? Like, she takes people and she shuts them down, right? She'll clinch you, she'll push you around a little bit, she's good. She's kicking legs, she's elbowing people, she's got good takedowns when you're against the fence. Pena, of course, is most notable for a big upset win over Amanda Nunes, which was avenged in very brutal fashion. If you don't know, she kind of outstruck Nunes a little bit in the second round, knocked her down of their fight. So Nunes kind of beats her up in the first round, then she knocks Nunes down and submits her in the second round by using, like, dipping jabs, which Nunes was not expecting. She likes her volume, and when she's on the ground, she is pretty slick with her submissions. So I think that this will be a fight of, like, can Pena do it in the first round or the second round, maybe even the third, the first half of the third, before Pennington just kind of takes over, right? Pena is somebody who fades as fights go on. She fades as things aren't going her way. You could see it in her fight against Shevchenko, or in her rematch with Amanda Nunes. Of course, she got 50-43. She kind of had some moments where she tried to lock in submissions, but like it wasn't good. Like it wasn't good for her. She got beat up badly, and whenever she talks about the fight, she'll be like, "I didn't lose. I just found out of time." But it's like you're getting 10-8 in every round, buddy. Like it's not good for you. So I think that what is going to happen here is this might even happen in the first round. To be clear, like I respect Pena for what she did, and I think she's a decent enough heel, but I don't think she's like all that special of a fighter. But I think that Pennington is. And I think that what's going to happen, Pennington's going to get in her face. She's going to box her up a little bit. And she's going to just push her around. She's going to push her against the fence. She's maybe going to take her down a little bit to just force her to put energy into getting back up. And over time, Pena is going to get more and more tired and more mentally broken, and Pennington is just going to still be there, right? One thing you'll find about this channel, and you can go back and watch, like old videos, I will never pick against a workhorse. Bilal Muhammad, I mean, I did pick against him, but I basically gave the game plan for how he was going to win, and then said, but Leon's pretty good, so spiritually I picked Bilal. Merab Dvalishvili, I picked for the same reason. Like someone who's going to get into your face and just stay there and is able to stay there. If you're not like a really special fighter with the ability to get them out of there, they're going to win. And I love watching people do that. I know other people don't like that, and that's okay. Like, do different things in the sport. But I think it's actually going to be a dominating and spectacular decision win for Raquel Pennington, unless Pena can find some submission out of nowhere. But I just doubt that. I'm pretty confident that Pennington will defend her title by decision. Final card, our fight of the night. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Guys, I like Pereira. I think he's cool. But I'm kind of getting tired of this. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of this. Like, the Yuri fight, I get it was on short notice. The second one, I get the Yuri fight was on short notice. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, they booked that fight for August anyways. Why did they book that fight? Yuri didn't deserve that. And now Khalil Rountree, when Ankalaev is right there, and then they're making Ankalaev fight Rakic, who is, like, also close to a title shot. I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like how the UFC is protecting this guy. I think he's a fun fighter. I like him a lot. I mean, I backed him in the beginning, like when it was unpopular too or whatever. Like I'm an Alex Pereira hipster, but I'm kind of tired of it now. I mean, he wins this fight, right? Like Khalil blitzes people, and he's good at it, and he hits hard, and he's got some creativity in his striking. But I just, like, you put somebody in there who's committed to not shooting a takedown against Alex, and he's just going to cook you. Like, I don't know if there is a pure striker in MMA who's better than Alex Pereira. Like, who would it be? This guy was one of the greatest kickboxers of his generation. So I think, like, to take this seriously, obviously we know Alex Pereira is this great kickboxer, right? He's got his leg kicks, he's got his body jab, and he's got his left hook. He's got a very simple game. He works his way up your body. You worry about the leg kicks, so he starts hitting you in the body with his jab. Then you worry about the body jab, and then he hits you with his left hook, and you go to sleep, right? This is just what he does. It works on everybody for a few reasons. One is that it's just a solid game plan, and he hits hard enough that you have to sort of feed into it. Two is that light heavyweights are generally stupid, so they don't know how to like defend striking. And three is that light heavyweights are generally stupid, which means that they're not going to shoot takedowns on him, right? Like, Jan Blachowicz was the only person in this weight class who's ever, like, seriously committed to getting Alex on the floor, and he arguably won that fight. So, Khalil Rountree obviously has come out and said, I'm not going to shoot a takedown. And, like, I get it. That's who he is. That's just the type of fighter he is. He's not a ground fighter. He's somebody with solid Muay Thai who knocks people out on the feet. And his most unique sort of trait is his bloodlust. Like, he actually enjoys hurting people, which is kind of cool. But I think that if that's not going to happen, like, you don't beat Alex. But I will present the case for Khalil. I think that there is a way that he can win, which is just quite simply that if you really blitz Alex, he backs up with his hands down in a straight line, and that can lead to him being caught, right? Jan was able to do it. Izzy was able to do it. So I guess like if Khalil really just rushes him, it might work. But of course, like the threat of the counter is always there, and if you're blitzing somebody as good as Alex Pereira, he's probably going to find the counter and he's probably going to knock you out, right? I think this is a bit of a useless title fight. I kind of, I really like Alex Pereira. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's revitalized the sport in a lot of ways. But I kind of hope Khalil wins. Like I think his story's great, and I just think it would be really funny. Like I think it would be really funny if the UFC booked this, like because they found like the one guy who could get Alex Pereira to 3 title defenses, so that by the time like he has to fight Ankalaev, um, they can give an immediate rematch when he loses. I think it would be really funny if Khalil won, and I think he deserves it. But I don't think it's gonna happen. This isn't a situation like Bilal where it's like I really actually kind of want to pick Khalil, but I'm trying to be smart. I don't see a path to victory for Khalil here. Well, I do, but I don't see a realistic path to victory for Khalil here. Um, I think that we can even see Alex shooting a takedown on Khalil. I think we could see Alex submitting Khalil if he wants to. Um, in the same way that he was able to get like Izzy down by using his striking threat. I'm super confident Alex Pereira will defend his title. Unless he gasses, I guess. I mean, Salt Lake does produce those upsets. It does, leave you vulnerable to getting hit in the head. I guess we'll have to see. Um, okay. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about my picks in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, like it. If you didn't enjoy the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel. I don't make money off of this, but it, makes me happy a little bit. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.